Okay.
Hey guys. All right, we're going live today. We're going live. I love saying that line. It's something that everybody says when they're going live. I am Roman Perez.
Coming to you live.
I'm live. I feel like Brett Musburger. We're gonna kill a few minutes, maybe a minute or so we can get people to come on. I'm Roman Perez. Manny, introduce yourself.
Manny,
just Manny. Nothing else, just Manny. And we have Josh with us. Josh Peltier from the Cameron County Conservatives Facebook page. What's up?
How are you guys doing tonight? It's good to be back with y'all.
Yeah, you're busting the Batman. Oh, dude, I had no idea you were wearing a cowboy cap, and I'm wearing a cowboy shirt. Oh, sorry. What side?
Manny, why aren't you part of the memo? Did you not get the memo, Manny?
No, he still thinks.
Manny's not one of the cool kids tonight.
No, he's from Chicago. Oh, yeah, he's gonna do his little Cubbies. How are the Cubbies doing anyway?
pretty good actually.
They're gonna make the playoffs.
It's only another 104 years till they win another World Series.
It was an abbreviated season. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, my hair is like a mess. This was kind of for some reason my fan went crazy today and messed up my hair. So I apologize for those of you who are like shocked by my long ass hair. And no, I do not want to cut my hair at a barber because I'm afraid of the Rona. That's me. All right, let me fix this stupid camera.
So we're just doing a bunch of random topics today. We'll go over the week slightly. Today specifically, and then pretty much a free for all, whatever we want.
Yeah. The first topic you all wanted to talk about was what the Dallas Morning News article and our friend Vanessa Tijerina.
Your friend.
She is my Facebook friend. I like her. She's cool. I have no problems with conservatives, liberals, libertarians, vegetarians, vegans. I don't have a problem with anybody. I'll talk to anybody. But this hit the Dallas Morning News. You shared it on the Cameron County Facebook page, right? Right, Josh? Tell us about this article.
Yeah, I did. It's an article saying that the Texas GOP won't support their state Senate candidate because, quite frankly, she's not a Republican. She's not a conservative. And due to her own choices and her
her DUI and
her legal issues, they can't back her for the candidacy.
Well,
I'm not even talking about the issues that she wasn't a Republican to begin with. So,
okay, what do you have to be a conservative to be a Republican, Josh?
No, you don't. But that's just the viewpoint that I take as a Republican. I consider myself to be a conservative, and there's just with Ms. Tejerina, she does not represent my viewpoints, and so that's just where I stand on it. And honestly, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's sad, but the fact that the incumbent Democratic Senator Eddie Lucio in some areas more closely reflects my viewpoints than does our Republican candidate.
Well, I find it funny. I want to take it from a couple different angles. One angle is we have moderates that are county chair people in Willacy and in Cameron, right? They're moderates. So you wouldn't consider them hardcore conservative Republicans by any stretch of the imagination, and they seem to be the ones going after Vanessa for not being a Republican, and I find that to be a little bit, I don't want to say hypocritical, but I'll say hypocritical. That you wouldn't think that's hypocritical of them to like, hey, you're not a Republican because you're not a conservative. Like, well, they're not conservatives either.
My main issue with the Republican leadership, if you will, was, well, why did we not have anybody else to face her in the primary period? She basically kind of snuck under the radar and filed on the last day possible. Well, where is the Republican leadership working to make sure we have Republican candidates across the board that we're not having to deal with this issue, period?
Not wrong.
That's kind of what my issue is. Now, I understand that during the primary season, the county chairs kind of need to be what's the word I'm looking for? They kind of need to stay above the fray. But once the slate is set, it's their job as the county chair to support all of our Republican candidates across the board, regardless if they agree with them or not. That's kind of their position as the Republican county chair. But the thing is that they should be looking to make sure that we have candidates filling every spot as much as possible. That way, we're just not ceding ground to the Democrats and just giving up seats come November.
But in Cameron County, you have the leadership of that party. They don't agree necessarily that every race needs to be filled up, because all that does is, antagonize Democrats in Cameron County to want to come out and vote in mass against all the Republicans, and then you don't get the favorite Republican to win. That happens right now with I'm not going to mention any names, because if you're on our show, you know who I'm talking about. They don't deserve to be mentioned on here. That's just my personal opinion, but that's just what they believe. Am I wrong in that, Josh?
You're not wrong. They're the ones that are for being wrong, because then, I mean, we should be having Republican representation across the board, whether it's in the JP race or the United States presidency race.
Yeah, but
there should be every position should have a Republican candidate if possible.
Yeah, but if you do that, if you do their policy of we're only going to pick and choose where we support Republicans to run in these races, you're going to always have these holes where somebody like Vanessa can come in and file as a Republican, and that's a big problem. So these are the leaders that have allowed this to happen, and then they have the audacity. She's not Republican enough, so we don't want her to run. We're not going to help her. And I'm sorry, until you have a legitimate, real party and have candidates on, you're going to continue to have this problem.
Exactly.
Why would you, so don't take it out on Vanessa. She did what she wanted to do. She wants to be on the ballot in November. You have leaders in the Cameron County Republican Party that don't want Republicans to run. We had a situation in 2010. Was it 2010 or 2014? I can't remember what year anymore. No. There was a person. I think it was 2010. Who wanted to run for county treasurer, and as a Republican, reached out to the Republican. No, you need to run as a Democrat, because you can win in the Democrat Party. Don't run as a Republican. When in actuality, what they didn't want was the incumbent Democrat for that position was a big supporter of the incumbent county judge at the time, who was a Republican. Again, I'm not mentioning names. He didn't necessarily want a Republican on the ballot in November, because how is he going to be able to choose party over person or what? I mean, I maybe I'm grasping at straws, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am wrong, but if I'm wrong, correct me. But regardless, that's what happens. You have Republicans, don't run as a Republican because you can't, or you'll have the same person tell people, well, do you have any money? Who's going to support you? Do you have a plan? Because he's the smartest person in the entire county when it comes to winning as a Republican, because he's won 3 times as a Republican, and somebody like Tony Garza only won twice. Yeah, never mind that Tony Garza won statewide at a time when Republicans weren't necessarily winning statewide races, but he won statewide.
Right.
That's worse than because he only won twice, and I won 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I won 3 times, so I'm better. Loser. I
think it was a combination of issues that got us to where we're at, Roman. I don't think it's just Vanessa Terrina's fault or the county party's fault per se. I think it's a combination of issues that need to be addressed by the Republican Party and members of the Republican Party themselves.
Well, you have this interesting situation juxtaposed where you have the leadership in the Cameron County Republican Party going out and trashing. Not only are they trashing their Senate district candidate, whether or not I would vote for her or not, it doesn't play into this. They're trashing their Senate district candidate, and now they're also trashing their congressional district candidate because they don't like him either. He's too conservative for them, I guess. So you have this odd situation where you're too conservative, Ray Gonzalez. You're not conservative enough, Vanessa Tijerina. And I'm sorry, that's an embarrassment. How are you going to grow the party? How is anybody going to want to run as a Republican knowing if I get in there and I don't get the blessing by these know nothing or do nothing Republicans leadership, I'm going to get trashed and they're not going to support me. What do you think about that, Josh or Manny? Manny, you haven't chimed in at all on this. So
yeah, I'm just getting some other things ready, set up here.
Okay, awesome. What do you think? What do you think about that? You have, Ray Gonzalez is getting trashed right now because he's, I guess, too conservative, and these alleged stories that he's not really a doctor, and it's being shared far and wide by the two leaders of the Republican Party in Cameron County. What do you think about that, Josh?
I think it's sad. I mean, that's just basically the way to put it. It's sad.
He hasn't commented at all, right? He hasn't said anything about it?
He hasn't come out and said anything about it yet.
Why not? He needs to come out and say something. I mean, answer charges. I mean, if you want to win, you need to be able to say, look, these people don't know what they're talking about. Put these leaders in the Republican Party in their place. I'm sorry.
I agree with you, Roman. It needs to be addressed, and the sooner the better. But just the whole situation is sad. My perspective is like I said, the county chairs are supposed to help find people to run, but then they're supposed to pretty much stay out of the primary if there's contested races. And then once the slate is set by the Republican primary voters, it's the county chair's job and the leadership of the party to support that slate. And unfortunately, that's not what is happening with the local leadership.
What do you think of? Are there rules that limit the ability for these? Can you kick these leaders out of the party for doing what they're doing to Ray Gonzalez right now?
That's the question, because then you have to have an executive committee meeting, decide whether what they're doing raises to the level of what would be considered a Rule 44 censure. And that's the job of the executive committee to decide that. But when the county chair is not calling for executive committee meetings, it's kind of hard for them to meet.
That's true. I don't disagree with you. Have they had their executive committee meeting?
They have not had their organizational meeting yet, which they have. I believe it's 65 days from the runoff to do the organizational meeting based upon the timeline that falls.
What's the calendar date then? It was at the end of the month?
It would be sometime, I believe, early October, because
that far away, 65 days.
Because the runoff was in July this year, correct? July 15th, July 14th. Mm-hmm. So 65 days from that, the organizational meeting has to happen. So you go 30 days from that, throws you into August. 30 days from that throws you into mid-September. So then an extra 15 on top of that, or roughly another 5. So I'm assuming sometime mid-September, late September.
Yeah, maybe they're just waiting or biding their time. Or crap, maybe we just told them what they need to do.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, go back to the story in Vanessa, and we'll deal with them nice Republicans that are in charge. And I put that in charge because, in quotes, because I'm not sure they're really in charge anymore. And I say that, we'll get into that in a second. Anyway, for this story with Vanessa, the Republican Party of Texas is saying, we're not going to support her in any way, shape, or form. How many candidates actually get supported by the Republican Party locally, whether in Cameron County, Willacy, Clayburgh, or Hidalgo, or in Kennedy County? How many of them really? And really, let's focus on Cameron because that's where the major population center is for this particular race. How often does the Cameron County Republican Party actually support their candidates, Josh?
Depends on what the candidate's last name is, to be honest with you.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So if you're not the lucky last name, and we know that name starts with the last name of C, I'm sure. If you're not the lucky person that they want to support, why does this freaking matter that, the Cameron County Republican Party is not going to support Vanessa anymore? Big deal. You don't support candidates anyway, generally speaking. And I say generally speaking because, again, you're the one who said it, certain last names gets favored and others don't. So big freaking deal. The Cameron County Republican Party is not going to help a candidate. Ooh, Should Vanessa be upset? Be scared?
No, I mean, I think she knew what she was doing when she got into the race. I think she had a general idea she probably wasn't going to win it, just because of the way the district sits, and um, a lot of Republicans are gonna, because Eddie Lucio is probably the most conservative Democrat in the Texas Senate. They, because of where she stands on the issues and where he stands on the issues, more than likely a lot of Republicans are going to vote for Eddie Lucio.
Why did Alan West, the chairman Alan West, and the Republican Party do this today? Why do you think?
I think because, one, they're trying to save face.
On a Friday on a Friday before Labor Day. Why today?
I think, one, trying to save face for the party, and two, to say that we're not going to be supporting somebody that makes the personal choices and decisions that she does. And I think a lot of people that voted for her maybe didn't necessarily know what her background was going into the race. And so kind of letting people know this is what is up with this candidate and why we cannot support her as our nominee, even though she is our nominee.
Why they bring attention to this now? I mean, I'm maybe not asking the question right, but it just seems very strange that the Republican Party gets out in front of this story. I mean, are the Democrats going to use her as statewide to say, look who the Republicans have? They haven't said anything. Is that what they're afraid of, or who is pushing? And that number one, and number two, who is pushing Alan West to come out and say we don't want to support her? Who's really behind this?
I don't know who is behind it, Roman. I can't say with certainty. But I think, because you got to understand, when Vanessa Tijerina filed for the position back in December, there was a different party chair, and at that point in time, a lot of her background issues, you could say, were not known to a lot of people. Since that time, we've had a new state party chair come to head the party, and then you also had her arrest situation in Raymondville over the summer. So a lot of that has come to light since then, since Chairman West came to lead the party. So I think that's one of the things that, and then her test results from that arrest just became known public. So I think that's what he's trying to do, is to try to get out in front of it based upon the releasing of those toxicology tests.
And I mean, and I'm not. I want everybody to know that I think what she was arrested for is wrong. I don't. I'm not a fan of anybody getting arrested for DWI or DUI and potentially doing drugs. I think it's wrong. I mean, let's just get that out of the way. I'm more interested in the politics part of this, because we all know Senatorial District 27 is not going to be won by a Republican. It just isn't. It's a Democrat seat. It doesn't matter if Sarah Stapleton had won the runoff in the Democrat side, or Eddie Lucio would have won, or Ruben Cortez, or any Democrat. Democrat dog catcher is going to win in November in Senatorial District 27. Why bother with this race? I mean, I don't understand why, whether it was in December or January, where you had these fights among conservative Republicans and some of our friends. I mean, I think you might have been one of them, absolutely upset that she was even running as a Republican, because she just espouses non-Republican ideals for the most part, because she is a liberal. She's a Bernie bro, or she is a supporter of
Beto.
Robert Francis O'Rourke. Oh, Beto. I'm sorry. I try hard not to call him Beto. I don't know. Plus, I think he really desperately wants to be like the Kennedys and have all named Robert Francis O'Rourke. Regardless, it makes no sense for them to waste all this energy on this particular person. It's almost like it's personal with these people. Do you think it's personal with these people that were going after her, or do you really think they had to party at our party's going to get harmed by Vanessa being on the ballot?
I think from the Chairman West standpoint, it's more just kind of protecting the party standpoint. I don't think he knows her personally, has never met her personally. I think maybe from the local levels, it could be construed as personally, just because of different situations I've heard of. So, like I said, I think from Chairman West, he's just kind of taking the the view of protecting the party, but some of it could be stemmed from what I've heard, different personality issues with local um, with local Republicans.
Yeah, and it's what's funny, I mentioned to you all and out
What
there.
do you think, Roman?
Oh, I try to have my opinion be nice and question. I'm the questioner today now. With Vanessa, I find it funny that Chairman West had no problem, saying this particular statement. If he cares so much about ST27, why hasn't he come out and talked publicly about what happened in the Senatorial District 27 caucus during the state convention? Why hasn't he come out and said anything? And I'm kind of, and why exactly is the byline saying Washington? Go back up in the story. I just noticed that right now. It says Dateline Washington. What, Washington? Really? They care about Vanessa Tijerina in Washington D.C.? Seriously? Give me a break. It needs to be, if anything, it should be Austin. Okay, guys. I mean, this is another. Dallas Morning News saying that this Dateline came from Washington is hilarious. Anyway, regardless. He hasn't said anything about what happened in Senatorial District 27, and neither one of us were there. Neither of us were delegates to it. I couldn't have been. I voted in the Democrat primary, and I'm not ashamed of it either. Before a certain individual, like, you voted in the Democrat primary, why are you getting involved? I voted Democrat primary because the Republican Party primary is worthless down here for the most part. Unless you're a delegate to the state convention, of course, I'm never going to be a delegate to the state convention, not with the current leadership involved. Why vote in the Republican primary? Oh, why? So we can get you more voters to say, look, we have a lot of Republicans here. We have a lot of Republicans, and we're a growing party. Like, you're not a growing party. A growing party might be is in Hidalgo, where they grew by 50% the amount of delegates they could get to the state convention in Senatorial 27, and Cameron pretty much stayed the same, even when you had a higher turnout in 2018, higher than you've ever had in a midterm election in Cameron County. They still couldn't get more votes for their governor office, so they're very stagnant in Cameron County. But look, that's because you have the leadership you have. There are people like yourself, Josh, and people like Jessica Puente Bradshaw and others that are truly trying to grow the conservative movement in Cameron County, not just twiddling their thumbs and sending out text messages to say, look how Roman is being mean to me. Why? Or we have another leader like, oh, God, these Republicans are bozos. They're bozos. And I've seen the text messages because people share them with me. Yes, last name with a C. I know you've called Republicans bozos. I have your text messages. Not that I'm like, hacking into your account. It's just don't send out mass text messages if you don't want Roman to see what you're writing. I'm just kidding. Regardless, you have this issue where you all are actually doing something, getting out there, giving people a reason to vote for the conservative movement, while they're twiddling their thumbs, telling people don't vote for Ray Gonzalez because he might not be a doctor. Let's talk about that. What are you Josh, and you and Jessica, what are you all doing? As I think you were called a splinter group the other day by one of the writers, one of their
a splinter group.
Yeah,
I didn't see that, so I don't know about that.
Some drunk blogger wrote that. Oh no, I'm sorry, he didn't write it. He's a convicted drunk, but he didn't write it. He was too ashamed to write it. Somebody else wrote it for him. I know who wrote it. I don't mention blogs because, frankly, you all don't matter to me. And a lot of things, blogs don't freaking matter. Granted, I'm barely growing this site. Me, Manny, and you, Josh, were part of it. We're just going to grow the site. People want to read it. Great. I'm not full of myself like you little bloggers getting advertisements and, getting, you have some alleged conservatives giving money to a porn blogger who trashes other people. Come on, guys. Why are you wasting your money giving your money to a porn blogger to advertise on his blog? Give me a break. But regardless, you are actually trying to do. They are not. So talk to me about what you all are doing.
Well, tomorrow we have a big SBI, or we have a Trump train headed out to SBI. We're going to be starting in the Harlingen area, and we're going to be heading out towards Los Fresnos. We'll have an event at Bob's World, where we'll just kind of have a little bit of a rally and a prayer and a pledge. Take a group photo there, and then we'll head out from there, head towards Laguna Vista, do a drive around Laguna Vista, and then come back out to Highway 100, and then we'll be headed down towards through Port Isabel, and then to South Padre Island. And there at South Padre Island, we'll split up into a couple different groups. One that'll do the drive up the island, and then the other group that has gone together to get a Trump Tilla going, to where they'll actually be having boats out, I believe, on the bay side it is. So they'll be doing a Trump Tilla, and then the group that is coming all the way from McAllen area, the RGB Trump train, they'll be having their dinner or get together, meet and greet around 6 p.m. at Lobo Del Mar. And then the Cameron County Conservatives will be meeting together around 6 p.m. around that same time at Louis' backyard for a mixer. So it looks to be a good time of just getting together, supporting our local candidates as well as the president, and showing conservative pride and support, and letting people know that there are conservatives here in the Valley.
Sorry, for some reason my phone did something stupid right now. Let me take this off. Yeah, so I think that's going to be an awesome event tomorrow.
I do too. Can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'll head out. I'll be in my vehicle, but I'm not going to get off and take pictures of anybody because I do like social distancing. But I want to experience this firsthand. Manny, you joining the train tomorrow?
I'm not sure right now. I'm not sure yet.
Cool. Well, it should be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a great, fun event, family friendly, and it's going to be an all day thing for you, Josh. I hope you're well rested for it. Going back to what we were talking about with Ray. Ray is. We're hopefully going to have him on next week. He's been invited. Trying to score down a date. We have some guests lined up next week. Definitely. I think we have Erasmo Castro coming on Monday at 7:30. We have Carlos Elizondo, who's running for BISD. And we have Carlos Elizondo on Wednesday, and we're lining up. Hopefully, Ray will join us. But the topic that I wanted to move on to was specifically the Ray Gonzalez. Hey, is he a doctor? And so when he comes over, we'll definitely be talking about that. Maybe he'll use his opportunity here to answer those charges that he's not really a doctor. My understanding is he went to medical school and didn't actually practice medicine. But if you went to medical school and you got your degree, you can call yourself a doctor. So what other topic do you want to talk about, Manny? You had a topic. Oh, Trump disputes claims, also provides evidence. All right, guys. Manny, since you want to talk about it, tell us about the story.
Yeah, basically, the word is they were going to visit a veteran military cemetery in France, if I'm not mistaken. And Chopper never left, claiming it was bad weather. And of course, people said and overheard, or they say have sources, that he didn't want to go to see a bunch of losers in a cemetery. So there's been paperwork released and multiple White House sources saying it was strictly due to weather. Here are the emails that say so. And I don't know. I just think it's more crap from the other side. Just, it's going to get worse leading up to November.
What's troubling about this story is it originally appeared in the Atlantic, and now you have conservative outlet Fox News verifying that this story is legit. And it's just like it seems to me all they're doing is confirming what an anonymous source, which might actually be the same anonymous source that told us originally. We're going to confirm that what that anonymous source told them is what they told us. But you have people like HuffPost and others, and you have these never Trump forever people that, and some of them are our friends, Josh, and it's really kind of embarrassing. Some of these never Trump forever. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I did not vote for President Trump 4 years ago. My never Trump ended at that point in time. And now I open my eyes and I see, and why didn't I vote for Trump 4 years ago? One, I felt he wasn't truly a conservative. I felt that he was going to say he was a conservative as a candidate and run directly to the left or govern from the left, because I felt that that's what he was. He proved to me that he really is a conservative with the things that he has said and he has done. And as a conservative, I no longer have a problem voting for him. Now, did I have a problem with his tact, the way he talks, what he says? Of course I do. I don't like people going out and trashing people the way he does it. I don't like it. But that's the personal side. And politics doesn't have to be personal with me. Politics can be very professional and very much business. If I don't like the way he acts, great. I don't like it. I still don't. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to vote for him, because I believe his policies are sound. His administration has governed from the right, and I, as a conservative, don't have a problem. Unfortunately, you have never Trump conservatives who really aren't conservative. You really look at who they are. They're neoconservative people that moved into the Republican Party because they didn't fit well with the Democrats. And now they don't feel like they have a home with the Republican Party as a conservative. And so now we're going to go back and vote with the Democrats because that's what you used to be. A lot of these people used to be Democrats and they became Republicans under the Reagan administration. I don't think they ever really moved where they were. They just found out that they don't like Trump. Their feelings were hurt. Their wee-wees were somehow hurt and they took their ball and went home. You can still be an independent, but as an independent, and I'm a conservative. And I'll always be a conservative. These people are not. And it's really shameful. You have Fox News, corroborating the story. What story? You Manny, just like you said, there's evidence that he did not actually what he said. And you had John Bolton, of all people, say, he never said that around me. And he was there. I mean, John Bolton definitely.
And that's in his book that he wrote months ago, even before this mess from yesterday.
And I even think the New York Times even asked him, and today, and I think that they have to, what do you think? Oh, well, he never said that around me. Sorry. But you have never Trumpers, never Trump forever people out there publicizing this and saying, oh my God, this is for real. This really happened. Oh my God, he trashed the troops. Really? You really think he's going to trash the troops like this? He doesn't like John McCain. We get it. He doesn't like John McCain.
That's different.
I didn't really like John McCain. Okay,
that was personal. I see that totally different than what this is.
Yeah, and the thing is that you had somebody. There was a. I guess his Twitter account is Number Crunchers or Number Munchers. I don't know his name. He was out there. Look. He said he never called President Trump an idiot. Look, here's video calling him an idiot. Yeah, in his tweet last night, guys. There's context in tweets. He was talking about he never said anything about McCain at that particular moment in time. That what he said when he called him an idiot or whatever at CPAC, that's a completely different situation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Guys, I know you all hate him, but be a little bit more factual when it comes to this stuff. I haven't even let Josh talk. What do you think, Josh?
Excuse me.
There you go. Yeah, while you're clearing that up, can you guys see that?
Yeah, can you make the because it's a little bit too? Yeah, there you go.
Oops, hang on.
That's too much. There you go. Not a soul brave enough to put their name on any of these accusations. That's because they are false. Just another anonymously sourced story. Commander-in-Chief who loves our military and has delivered on the promises he made. What a disgrace. And he's right. These are anonymous source stories. These are probably the same anonymous source stories that Dan Rather did in 2000. You see, I've been a conservative for a very long time, so I kind of have a long memory. 2000 was an interesting year. You had Dan Rather do his little October surprise that might have actually cost Governor Bush, Florida, had it not been for this particular story that came out as the October surprise. You okay, Josh? Don't die on us.
Yeah, I'm good.
And it was completely fake news.
Right.
Fake news. So
Wasn't that the story that ended up ending Dan Rather's career too?
Pretty much, yeah. And it was like, this is legit. This is real. And now you have this anonymously sourced story. Seems to be, I think, Manny, you mentioned something that there was a video out already from the Biden campaign from their
this story just broke yesterday, and 5 or 6 a.m. this morning, there was already a video out, a Biden video with a mom saying, "My son is not a loser." His whole production. I mean, come on.
It's ridiculous. Now, you have to look at this and take all this with a grain of salt. I believe this. Is Trump angry, mean, or whatever? Probably. Doesn't mean he's going to say something like this, especially when the story is so anonymously sourced. And I've always said this from 2016. The problem that the media had, even then, and why people don't trust the media is because President Trump, when he was a candidate, was able to show one little thing being fake and consistently planting that seed. Fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news. So now, 4 years later, you don't trust the media anymore. That's what he does. And whether or not, and it's not like any other people haven't done this in the past. He's learned from history. This is how you do it. And quite frankly, as a conservative, Josh, you as a conservative, man, you as a conservative, we've been seeing fake news out of the media for years. During the Bush administration, there was nothing but fake news. The word fake news didn't exist. The phrase fake news didn't exist, but it happened. We saw that in 2008 in the election, in the campaign, when we supported John McCain, because we did support John McCain, or when we supported Mitt Romney. We've seen all this. But the conservative party, the conservative part of the party, now understands that because they've been living it. It wasn't until Trump was able to say, you know what, I'm going to defend you. And now they can say this. So when you had Richard Grenell go on today at the White House, say, hey, nobody believes you outside of your little bubble. He's right. He's a lot right. Now that you got your water in you, talk, Josh.
I mean, I just know that President Trump has been probably the most pro-military president that we've had in a long time. And so not only Manny pointing out the inconsistencies in the reporting of the story, to me, for him to say something like that just sounds out of character for him. To me, I think it's hogwash, and it's just the left grasping at whatever straws they can because they see the writing on the wall come November 3rd. So they're just trying to scratch and claw any way they can to try to tear down what he's been doing for the last 4 years. It's sad that they have to use our military, the men and women who sacrifice the most for us to ensure the freedoms that we have. They're using them as a political tool in their game because they can't beat him on substance. And quite frankly, it's sad and it's ridiculous, and the people who are doing it should be ashamed of themselves.
Unfortunately, some people that are doing it are our friends that are conservatives or supposed conservatives, and it's really shameful. And I feel for them. I mean, they are our friends and will continue to be friends, but it's just why? Why are they so angry towards him? I don't understand it.
You don't understand it, Roman, or do you want me to?
Oh no, Brandon is
expound on it.
Brandon is calling us for some reason. I wonder what he wants. You can expound on it, but I don't know what to do. I'm going to answer the phone. Brandon, I'm going to get you on the show one way or the other. Hey, Brandon, we're doing a show right now. Yeah, it's okay. You want to come on for a few minutes? We were talking about you.
Maybe that's why his ears pricked up.
Hey, you know what? Let me send you, Manny. Send Brandon the link. Come on, Brandon. We're talking about you right now. Yeah,
so,
send him the link. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. We're gonna send you a link. Get on, okay? No, just get on. Just get on.
So to go back to answer your question, what was it? Why do they? What's the issue with Trump? Is that what you're saying? The neocons?
Why do they like him? Why
they don't like him because Trump hasn't just broken the back of the Democratic Party. He's starting to break the back of the establishment swamp. And if he gets another 4 years in office, then more than likely than not, he's going to be able to succeed in completing that plan. It's not just, you got to look at the whole way Trump began. He was able to take out another 16 Republicans to become the nominee. He took down Hillary Clinton to become president. Mm-hmm. And now they've tried everything they can throw at him, from impeachments to the Russian or the Ukrainian issue, which was actually looks like it's now backfiring on the Bidens. You have everything that they've tried to throw at him, and he's come out on top. And so basically they're trying to figure out what can we do in the last 2 months of this election to get him out. And that's why they're using the military, unfortunately, as probably one of their last straws that they have to use against him, because they see the writing on the wall.
But and you believe that it's not just the left doing it. You believe that it's these never Trump forever people.
I do, Roman. Unfortunately,
it's unfortunate. I mean, some of them are angry because of immigration. He's so mean. He's so racist. He's a racist. I don't think he's a racist. And at some point, I want to have a good friend of mine come on our show. We're just waiting for the right time for her to come on so we can talk about her life. Anyway, hopefully Brandon will join us for a few minutes. He can come on and talk to us about what's happening in Clayburgh County, because I really want his opinion on Vanessa. Anyway, keep going. What's our next topic you want to talk about, Manny?
All right, got a good one here. You can put this on the sports topic.
Uh-oh. Sports on the Rio. Or Sports on the Rio right here. Sports on the Rio.
Let me fix this real quick.
Dun, 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 dun. Sports on the Rio. We need music. Dun, 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 dun.
Right.
Oh, Stars won.
Stars won, yeah.
Need it. Oh, dude. Jerry Jones really softens on protests. Says players need help. Jerry.
Players need help.
How about you pay for your own freaking stadium, dude? Seriously. Don't go to the city of Arlington and go to another city and ask them to pay for your freaking stadium.
That player who makes $50 million a year needs help.
How about you give away your money? You Democrat wannabe, probably never Trumper as well. Give away your money. Who also needs help? The poor black person in Oak Cliff over in Dallas or something. I don't know the African American community areas. You know what you should do? You should give.
It's South Oak Cliff, but Oak Cliff, yeah.
Yeah, you should give every person in Southmost, not me, because I don't want your money. Every person in Southmost, give them $50,000 right now. Give them $50,000 of your money, because we need help. Okay. So I'm wearing a Cowboy shirt. I was a Cowboy fan before you bought the team. I'll be a Cowboy fan after you leave the team, because give me a freaking break. I'm not buying any more gear, by the way. I have enough shirts to last me as many years as I want, because I have a lot of shirts. But you aren't going to get another penny out of me, and because until you give $50,000 to every single person in Southmost, because we need your help, dude. We need it. Give it to us. What do you think? What do you think, Cowboy fan? Josh?
I would want to see why he changed his stance. I know when they started the kneeling thing back when Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed, who were on the 49ers, kind of started it. He was one who, I think he did it with the Cowboys players in solidarity, but they did it before the game, like way before the anthem. But then during the anthem, he had everybody stand during the anthem to show respect for the anthem and the flag. So I would be curious as to see what the change of heart was, to see what his viewpoint is on it now and why it changed from 3 to 4 years ago. So it would be an interesting take to read, to see what has kind of gone into his thought process. To be honest with you.
All right, hey Brandon's back. Let's read some of the story.
Hello.
Brandon, take out the little tag. We're talking about Jerry Jones. Well, we were talking about you because we were talking about Vanessa Tijerina, and I wanted your opinion on what happened and talk to us about the Never Trumpers in Clayburgh, if you have any, and also the signs that are being stolen right now. Trump signs being stolen over in Clayburgh.
Yeah, we've had a couple signs vandalized, but Vanessa, she needs some serious help, dude. Like, there's something wrong with her. I mean, I think she's crazy. You know, maybe if they put her on some medicine, you know, she might not be crazy. She'd still be a socialist, but I mean, she's a crazy socialist. I feel really bad for her kids. Because, I mean, they came to one of our meet and greets once. You know, we invited her here because I wanted to show everybody that, you know, she was crazy. I didn't want her to just take my word for it. So we let her have the floor and she talked. And yeah, she said she's, I guess, a Bernie Sanders Republican, however that works.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna need to hop off real fast. You guys have a good night.
See you there, Josh.
All right, later, Josh.
Bye.
So, I mean, my whole issue with her was not that she was running, was that she was running Republican, because it's disingenuous, you know. It'd be like a Republican, you know, all around. Like, it'd be like Ted Cruz running as a Democrat for president. I mean, he's not a Democrat. He has no business being there.
Yeah.
You know, he can run for office, but he shouldn't be running as a Democrat because he just lied to the people.
Mm. Wow, you got a nice haircut for your show now, dude. Like, what?
Right.
It looks really cool, dude. You look different, and you even wearing a suit. Did you bury somebody today?
No, but we earlier, yes, but I just got out of a rosary. So.
Yeah, no worry. Well, God bless her soul. Yeah, anybody needs any funeral services, go to Brandon. Brandon does funeral services and.
Well, I'm not a funeral director, but I assisted the funeral home, but I do sell monuments.
Yeah. You guys sold monuments. If you need a monument for, hopefully people aren't dying too much from the Rona, but if you need a monument, contact Brandon. He's on Facebook. Good guy. Give you a good price, I'm sure.
It's a decision you should not take for granted.
No, we shouldn't. Well, we were talking about the Cowboys, and what was the other topic we were talking about? Because Josh left us. We were talking about the Never Trumpers, and talking about how there are a lot of Never Trumpers who don't Never Trump Forever people who don't want to support the president now. And so you're getting signs stolen over there. What are you doing to keep those signs from getting stolen?
Well, I confronted the person, and supposedly that they saw the sign. It was in a parking lot just blowing around, so they put it in the trash.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
I did have one of my big Trump signs that I ordered these, you know, the signs myself, the party, and another individual. We all came together and we ordered a bunch of 4x8 signs at a mission for Trump, and you know, I got 10 for myself that I put up in my locations, and one of them had been you know, it was vandalized. They ripped it off the poles and, you know, they threw it on the ground, and then they did steal like the small yard sign that was there too.
Are there any Biden signs up in Clayburgh?
Just maybe 3 yard signs that I've seen.
Wow.
That's it. The Democrats, you know, they try to copy us with our Trump parades and stuff, and they did their little parade. I think they had like 9 cars. I mean,
how many
only like 9 cars. It was a few other candidates, and then, you know, 2 loons with like Biden signs. What I was thinking, I don't know if the funeral home would let me, but I really want to, you know, borrow a hearse from someone, put some of the Biden signs on it upside down, and, you know, riding with Biden and just follow the Trump parade around. I think it would be kind of funny.
You know, I don't think they'll let you do that. That'd be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
I mean, I feel bad for Biden. I really think they're just taking advantage of him. I don't think he really knows what's going on.
You know, you know, that was kind of the next topic I wanted to talk about was the Biden press conference. I've been using the post a lot today. Press conference. Did you get a chance to watch any of it, Brandon?
No.
But no. Did you, Manny?
Heard it once. Heard it
the last couple days.
Well, no, the one that happened today. He's getting questions from journalists, real journalists, and they're like,
now here's the conspiracy thing, right? Which Biden was it? Was it the one with the attached earlobes or the unattached earlobes?
Oh dear!
If you haven't seen that yet, look it up.
QAnon crap. All right, I don't do QAnon here. This is the.
I know.
No.
I'm not saying I believe it. I just think it's funny.
It's funny. Yeah, you can laugh. No, what I found troubling was, you know, the first question they asked, "What do you think of this story from the Atlantic?" It was an Atlantic journalist, and who asked the question, "What do you think about the Atlantic story from last night? What did that say about Donald Trump's soul?" That was a real question of a presidential candidate, what are your thoughts on how questions come up from the journalists? Yeah.
I mean, I wish they would ask him questions about him, and his policies and what he would actually be doing different, or why he thinks what he thinks.
He doesn't remember. He probably doesn't remember what he did yesterday. I mean, seriously. I was joking with one of these. I assume he's a Never Trump Forever person or liberal on one of our mutual friends' Facebook pages, and it was funny because he's like, well, because I said I remember having to defend McCain in 2008 and Romney in 2012 from these fake news stories, and he's like, well, I remember having to defend them from our president, and I'm like, well, yeah, that happened in the last 4 years. You're like Biden. Yeah. You barely remember what happened 4 years ago. I have a much longer memory than you do, and it's ridiculous. But you're right. They really do need to ask tougher questions, but they won't ask tough questions of him because they support him. That 5-second insult that President Trump said from the White House after the DNC was hilarious. Like, well, I welcome you back from your convention. It's because it's true in many respects. These questions are not good. But it's gonna be, they're gonna be able to feed the idea. He's not hiding. He's not basement Biden. He's answering questions. Like, yeah, these questions mean nothing. They don't help the electorate at all.
Lightweight.
You believe in these polls right now that show Trump behind in Texas? There was a poll today that said that Trump was behind by 3 points. There was another poll that came out yesterday. I guess Fox News had their poll yesterday. Or day before yesterday, saying that Trump is behind 9 points in Arizona, 8 points in Wisconsin, and 4 points in North Carolina. Your thoughts? You and I are both poll people.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that we're doing better in Wisconsin than we would be in Arizona, right? I would take that as a good sign. I mean, Fox News, they're not famous for having good polls.
That's true.
I mean, they oversample Democrats.
They do.
And I don't know if they did that intentionally, just to scare Republicans into voting, which maybe. No, he's not behind in Texas.
Yeah, well, I don't foresee it, and the reason I'm asking
I think in Arizona, personally, from what I've seen, and I could be wrong, I think Trump will win Arizona, but there's more than likely we'll lose the Senate seat unless something drastic happens to change it.
I think you're more right on that than.
I mean, she's already proven that she can lose statewide. She's done it already.
And Kelly is not
he's an astronaut, dude. I mean, people just, hey, it's an astronaut. That's cool. I'm going to vote. Not everybody looks at the issues, unfortunately.
That's true. And the reason I'm asking about Clayburgh, because Clayburgh is a red county, right? Y'all are red county now.
Well, I mean, we're getting there. I'd say we're purple. I mean, some Democrats, they do win. I didn't win my election, but we do have control of the commissioner's court. We've got a sheriff. We've got district clerk. We've got JPs. We have a district attorney, district judge. So I mean, we're definitely. I mean, it's a purple county,
And y'all are very then because you're purple.
We're about 73-74% Hispanic, and we've been able to elect all these Republicans. I think it's a good sign for the party.
Yeah, at least there, and it seems it's strange how well you all are doing, and yet so badly here in Cameron County we're not. You're more aligned with Nueces County, obviously, and Nueces is also a very purple county. They didn't do too well in 2018 as they normally would because they hit lower. I mean,
Beto spent $80-90 million in Texas and all these elections in his ground game. I mean, you spend $80 million in a state like that, you might he couldn't even win with that kind of money. I would have beat Ted Cruz with that kind of money, but Beto couldn't even do it. But you're going to do something, and 2018 was their blue wave.
So do you think that the blue wave is non-existent now, and you really believe that Trump is going to blow Biden out of the water, and these he's
going to win Texas. He'll do better against Biden than he did against Hillary. I sincerely think that.
Wow,
because we have people from Benavides, from like Duval County, coming into our headquarters like every other day, just getting Trump signs and everything. I mean, Jim Wells County never did that. Probably go for Trump. I mean, all the rural blue counties, they're making a major shift towards Trump. I don't know as much about the city, but I mean, it's changing. So, and if it is a close election, it's going to be the Hispanic Republicans that put Trump over the top.
Wow. That's an amazing thing. I really like for you to look at some of these counties and tell us about those counties, because I'm not as familiar with Uvalde and all that area.
Like Jim Wells, for example. You know, they've never voted, you know, Republican for a president or any you know, official until you know, 2000 and I guess 14 for J.M. Lozano. He was the first. Well, then in 2018, Governor Abbott actually, you know, he won Jim Wells County, which he's the first Republican governor ever to win that county.
Mm-hmm.
They're having their own Trump rallies over there, and they had one in Orange Grove the other day. I think they had like 60 trucks there. I mean,
I love Orange
there's
Grove.
a lot of Trump. You don't see any Biden signs in this whole area.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you know that I'm from there. I mean, I lived in the area, so to know that Orange Grove is doing as well, because you're right, the rural area. There's a lot of people from Annabelle that have moved, or that I know personally that have moved to Jim Wells County. You have all of the refineries in that area. They're just constantly booming, and they understand the energy business. So Jim Wells County doesn't surprise me that they're moving in that way. I just didn't realize they moved that quickly. It's going to make a big difference. So hopefully this will happen, and you all can win it, and for Trump, because it's going to be you all. And that's why in 2018 you had Senator Cruz going in a lot of these rural areas.
Yes.
In the last 2 weeks of the election, not focusing in on Houston and Dallas and Austin and San Antonio. He was concentrating on these other areas, which was great. Well, it's already 8:27. I think we can cut off. Thanks for joining us last minute, Brandon.
No problem.
I want you to join.
I'm not actually avoiding y'all, believe it or not. I just get busy or things come up.
No, anytime you want to come on, we're going to have some good guests next week. We were trying to get Veronica Deaton yesterday, but she bailed on us. I still haven't gotten the full story on that one. And we did talk about your favorite Republican leader. We won't mention her name. Her name doesn't exist in our Facebook on our.
I'm not, yes, because I'm not going to talk about that person.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. That person
not going to do it.
No, don't even bother, because then you're gonna get
been there, done that. Don't want to deal with it.
Want to get text message? Don't do that. But yeah, we're gonna do a show hopefully tomorrow. Are we doing the show actual? Are we gonna try to do the show covering some of the Trump train stuff, man?
Yeah, we're gonna try some. We'll figure something out.
We might push the time up a little bit, because I know you have rosaries to go, so maybe you want to videos and stuff if you'd like to. But we next week we have Erasmo at 7:30 on Monday. Or for sure, and we have Carlos Elizondo for sure on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday, it was going to be a special day. We've decided, me and Manny decided we're not doing the fantasy football after all, in part because some people just don't have time to do it. They have more important things to do. So what we're going to do is Wednesday nights, when we do our show at 7:30, we'll go through some of the bigger college football games and think who's going to win those games. And we're definitely going to do every single NFL game, but we're going to do that every Wednesday at 7:30. So you want to watch us, be ready. And you want to give us your picks, you can put picks in the comments. You want to join us. So that's our plan. And we're going to work on this website. Any last thoughts, Brandon, you want to share with us? Nothing?
When is the, I guess September 29th, that's the first presidential debate, right?
Yeah, and we're going to plan a big day on that one. What we want to do is, starting at, I think, about 6 o'clock, what we're going to do is we're going to do the pregame, have a big show, and then we'll end it right before the debate starts. We'll stream it live here on RioPolitics, and then we'll do another show after and recapping it. And I don't have a problem on this September 27th going until midnight talking about this debate, going over clips. And it should be a fun debate, because we'll have Chris Wallace doing.
Do you think the debate happens?
Yes.
Depends on what Biden they get, the earlobe.
The earlobe or not, right?
So I hope there's a debate. I hope there's a debate. If there isn't a debate, I'll be upset. But if there is a debate,
there's not a debate. I think it needs to be an in-person debate, though, because the whole virtual debate, anybody can they have that. The computers can do amazing things, right? They could put my face on somebody else and just have them talk eloquently. So
we've experienced a virtual debate last week. Manny, we covered a virtual debate happen locally in a Brownsville ISD race where one of the candidates, we're not going to say her name, was getting fed answers by her husband. She was like,
kind of like Donna Brazile fed Hillary.
Yeah, but no. But during
this was more obvious.
She's running for Brownsville ISD school board and literally cheated during the forum for him, and you could hear him whispering, giving him the answers like from behind the computer screen. It was embarrassing. It was shameful. And so yeah, if they're willing to do it,
don't you hate it when people can hear like, you whispering like on a Zoom meeting or something like that?
Oh, I know, right? Oh, Oh, yes, we've never done that before. But that's not cheating.
That is not cheating. It's correct.
Yeah.
The resources.
All right. Well, we'll let y'all go. God bless y'all. Enjoy your Friday night. We'll see you all tomorrow at 7:30. And if Granny can come out or join us after his rosary, that'd be great. And we'll talk about the Trump train. And that's going to happen tomorrow during the day. And we'll talk about any other news we want to do. It'll be great. And God bless y'all. All right. Take care.
All right. Good night. Take care. Bye.